Today we're going to learn about the new McKenzie Regional Workforce Center and how it is educating young people in the skilled trades. We have a panel of 3 speakers joining us today, and they will be seated up here at the head table, and they will come to the podium to speak. So before I introduce our speakers, I wanted to mention that our DEI committee has also made arrangements for a guided tour of the new center, which is located off of Verona Road in Fitchburg. The date is August 17th. You've got slips on the table. There are 2 different times, 3 o'clock and 4 o'clock. I'm sure we'll send that out, a link via email as well. I had the pleasure of going to the opening, and I can tell you it is extremely impressive. So I encourage you all to go and check it out. Okay, now joining us at the podium are Alan Branch, and Alan is the inaugural Vice President for Workforce Development for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Dane County. Alan leads the new McKenzie Regional Workforce Center and oversees dozens of employees and educational and community partners. Michael Johnson is the President and CEO of Boys and Girls Clubs of Dane County and led the transformation of this organization from a local children's charity to a change agent for children and families. And last but not least, John McKenzie is the owner of McKenzie Apartment Company, which owns and operates over 1,400 luxury apartments in Madison, Middleton, and Verona. John and his family purchased and donated the building for the new center. We look forward to their presentation, and we've also made a contribution to the Rotary International Polio Plus Fund as a way of saying thanks for speaking with us today. We will have Q&A at the end, so please wait until the microphone is passed to you. So let's welcome these guys. You take yourself? Thank you.
I can't tell you what a good feeling it is not only to talk to a distinguished group like this, but to be able to say we finished the project, because Michael and I, you're the first group that we've talked to since we've opened up July 15th, and Michael and I spent 7 years talking to people about our vision, and it's finally come true, so we're really excited about that. The thing that I think is really unique about the facility is that not only is it good for our economy because it's going to add skilled young people to a workforce that desperately needs them, so it helps business, but at the same time, it improves the social fabric of our community, because we're going to take a bunch of people who might otherwise have been marginalized, not only get them great jobs, but we're going to teach them about wealth building and entrepreneurship. So if you think about what that means, if we can teach these kids how to build generational wealth, how impactful that is for our society. Because we've got, frankly, a racial wealth gap in this country and a gender earning gap. And this facility is directly addressing those problems, and we're really proud of it. So the other thing that I think is kind of cool is I have found through this process that an individual, small business person like me, could come up with an idea, and if that idea makes sense to other people, and you bring in the right people to partner with you and participate with you, that guy and the Madison Area Builders Association, magical things can happen. And we're going to show you what that looks like at the end. But first of all, I guess I'm supposed to talk about how this idea came about. So I build apartments. And in that capacity, I'm sort of like a general contractor, so I work closely with the various trades. And everybody that's a part of construction, and most of society now knows that we have a real serious problem in the shortage of skilled workers in this country. And that is very impactful for the businesses that are in construction. They can't grow the way that they want to. And a guy like me who builds apartments can't build them on the schedule that they want to. I mean, I've had times when I've got a foundation finished and it takes me 2 months to get a carpenter. And that's expensive, and that's a problem. So one day I was sitting around talking to some of the contractors about the problem, and I said, why don't we have enough skilled workers? These jobs are Some of them pay over $100,000 a year, and they're great jobs. Everybody seems happy on the job site. What's going on? They said, well, over the last few decades, the schools and society has really downgraded the skilled trades relative to college. And we built up a huge group of kids that don't even have that on their radar screen. And I said, so how do you recruit people? They said, well, primarily it's farm kids. Well, farm kids? We're running out of farm kids, right? So I looked around, and it was pretty obvious to me a couple of things on the job site. Pretty much everybody is white, and pretty much everybody is male. So it doesn't take a rocket scientist, and I'm not one, to figure out the only way that you're going to meet the demand for the future. And by the way, it's getting worse because these old white guys are going to be retiring. They're aging. So the only way to really meet that demand is to diversify the workforce. And that means more people of color, and that means more women. That's not only a good opportunity for business, it's a great opportunity to address some of the issues that we have in our society. And so nobody better on the planet Earth that I know than Michael Johnson to go to. So I called Michael and I said, Michael, you've got this great college program in the Boys and Girls Club called Avid Tops. And I know about this program because my wife and I sponsored, through a contest, a kid in the Boys and Girls Club who was in the Avid Tops program to a full ride scholarship to the UW, and it was $100,000. And as proud as we were of that, we really recognized, or I did, that that's an awful lot of money to spend on one kid, number one. Number two, 20% of the kids in the Boys and Girls Club get into college. Okay, and of those 20%, half of them drop out because they don't have enough money. So here's this vast group of kids in the Boys and Girls Club, and there's 7,000 of them locally, 4 million nationally. These are good kids who want their lives to be better. But they get out of the club, their friends go to college, and they really don't have a good plan B. Well, here it is. This is perfect, right? So Michael understood right away, and he thought it was a good idea. So I don't know if you remember, but he and I kicked around ideas, and just nothing was really very impactful or impressive. We just wasn't clicking. And then I realized the obvious, and that is that I've been a member of the Madison Area Builders Association, MABA. Well, it's 30 years now. That's the jobs. That's the training. And if we could hook up with them, we've got something really powerful to work with. So I went to MABA and I explained that there was this great opportunity, and thankfully they got it right away too. So pretty soon we had two boards that endorsed this idea of a partnership, which somebody, I hope, is going to talk about how our idea has gone national now. But anyway, so we had this partnership, and the first thing we knew we needed to do was find a building. And I always felt like we should try to find a building that we could make dramatic enough so that these kids would see that they're part of something special, right? Because colleges are building beautiful facilities. We needed to do something that was competitive with that, right? So we spent 3 years looking around, and it was awful. We saw some of the worst stuff, and it was. I didn't want to do something that was going to be embarrassing, but it would have. We had a budget that was, at that point, fairly limited. Now we're up to $31 million so far that we've raised, but at the time it was much smaller, and nothing was working. And then one day, we found this building that was perfect. It was perfectly located near the kids. It was on a bus line so the kids could get there. The bones of it were fantastic. There was only one problem. it was way beyond our budget. It was too big. But by this point, this really meant a lot to me, and I really felt like we could do something important. And so I called Michael and I said, listen, if we can put this thing together and move forward, I'll buy the building and donate it. So that's what happened. And then we had the building. So here we've got something to work with. So there's an architectural firm that had worked with the Boys and Girls Club before that came on and did some initial designs for us. They loved the building and they thought there was great potential. So Michael and I had a meeting with them after they'd worked on it for about a month, and they said, okay, we've got kind of your budget and then we've got potential. So your budget is basically lipstick. Your potential we want to show you. And so they opened up a design that was absolutely mind-bendingly wonderful. It was everything I know I dreamed of and beyond. And I think Michael, we just had to get the money, but it was fantastic. Well, the next step then was to go to MABA, and they showed MABA, and they said, oh, we love it too, but we want to do an addition on the building. So anyway, so that is kind of how it all came together. The story of where we got from there to now is kind of surprised all of us. But I want to tell you from the bottom of my heart, whatever we have put into this thing, we talk about, we got more out of it. And we all feel energized by this project because we know it's going to change lives.
Thank you, John. That's not me. That is Chad Lawler, Executive Director at the Madison Area Builders Association. Last night, Chad became ill. Nothing major, but he's not going to be able to join us today. So I will go ahead and do his segment for him. As John said, this is amazing. We started programming about a year ago, July of 2022. And we thought about waiting for the building to get finished, and Michael said no. We went out and we hired an assistant vice president for programming, and we actually started programming. We started programming in our clubs. And the one thing that we did first is we started with the little kids at the elementary level. Because to me, and I've talked to, since I've been here for almost a year and a half now, I've talked to hundreds of people about this issue. And I don't believe the issue is that folks are aging out of the industry, the trades. That's not the issue. The issue is younger people don't have interest to replace them. And we're not focusing our interest on marketing that to the youth. We're focusing on Generation X. Well, they're almost 50 years old. We're focusing on the millennials. I mean, I'm a baby boomer. I didn't grow up in the information age. I mean, I had 3 stations on TV. And we want to target young folks between the age of 25 to 40. They've been exposed to all kinds of things. They have options. As John said, the market was farm kids. Back in the day, those folks did what their parents did. They saw the career. They had a nice bedroom. Their dad was a plumber. That's good living. They knew it. But kids that look like me, they didn't know that. And kids that look like me today still don't know that. We have to target the kids that are between 9 to 13 years old. And we have to make an investment in their future. And it's going to take more than one center that you're going to see today. It's going to take multiple of those. It's going to take the government to pay more attention, not to how many apprentices do we have this year, But how many kids are we inspiring to become involved in the trade? How many kids are we encouraging to become involved in the industry? You know, it's about awareness, it's about exploration, and it's about providing kids opportunity to participate in the careers that their grandfathers did 20 years ago. And that's what the McKenzie Regional Workforce Center is all about. And we set out first, like I said, with the younger kids to make them aware that these careers and these opportunities actually exist. I'm a YMCA kid, so I grew up in an apartment in the inner city of Pittsburgh. You know, when a plumber comes in or a carpenter, I paid that guy no attention. I didn't even know who he was, what he was doing there. I could care less. But kids that grow up with carpenters in their families, with electricians in their families, they understand the impact of that career. We spend a lot of time focusing on youth to pursue four-year secondary education. And we look at industries like the trades as second fiddle. And the kids see it that way. We have to, and that's what we built, and I'll show you later. We built a place that's going to inspire them. It's not second fiddle. We built a place that's going to encourage them, that's going to make them feel like they matter. And what they're doing in this space is going to make a difference in my life. And it starts with making them aware of those opportunities, providing them opportunities to explore these careers. And we've done that. I mean, in the last year, we've touched the lives of almost 1,000 kids. And we've exposed them to these trades. We've taken them to trade symposiums, field trips, employer visits. We've shown them what this career actually looks like. And we take it another step further, and we give them opportunities to explore it. They can touch it, put their hands on it, understand what it is to be a plumber, what it is to be a carpenter. And then finally, we provide them opportunity to participate, to do hands-on opportunities so they can see and feel what this experience actually is. And like I said, we do it as early as the 5th grade. Statistics have told us that kids in the 5th grade are eliminating careers. You know, that's not good. I'm not going to do that in the 5th grade. Where I grew up from, it goes beyond that. It's not just eliminating a career. They're making decisions of whether life even matters in the 5th grade. And we have a lot of kids right here in Madison making those decisions every day. And we believe that the McKenzie Regional Workforce Center is going to change that. We're going to start with 3 possible pathways that can get them engaged in the trades. The first one is direct to work. And I'll talk about the partnerships a little later, but we have partnerships for kids like me who graduate from high school. They're going to need to go to work. You know, they're not going to afford to be able to go to a 4-year college or a 4 or 5-year apprenticeship. If they can make $28 to $32 an hour right out of a high school, that's what they're going to do. We're going to give them that pathway. That's an option for them. We also have partnerships that's going to open up doors for apprenticeship opportunities. Not every kid is good with math. It's not easy to be an electrician or a carpenter or a heavy equipment operator. You gotta know math. You know, you gotta know math. And one of the things that I think sets us up uniquely is that at the Boys and Girls Club, I'm going to get to know little Johnny and little Mary. You know, I'm going to get to know the kid that can go to one of our partners and explore opportunities as an apprentice with the operating engineers. Or I'm going to know a kid that struggles a little bit, and the opportunity to go directly to work is the best path for them. And we'll be able to cultivate those relationships with those kids and put them on the best pathway that they can be most successful at. And we're not excluding 4-year college degrees. We have a great partnership with Madison College. They have a great construction program. Kids that are inspired to go to college, they're going to have that opportunity as well. And we also have relationships with the University of Wisconsin also. So we're looking at all 3 different pathways. we're getting to know the kids, and we're directing, we're encouraging, we're inspiring them into the best pathway that's going to lead to their success. Another relationship that we have is with the National Association of Home Builders, as John said. Right now there's 20 different cities trying to do exactly what we're doing, and it all started right here in Madison. There's 4 major ones in Atlanta, Hartford, South Dakota, that are moving the needle. Not all of them are going to be able to achieve what we have achieved here in Madison, but right now there's almost 20 cities trying to duplicate, inspire youth to pursue careers in the trades. And this is just to give you some idea of the different type of programming that we've done. The Madison Area Builders Association is a big part of this. We took kids out to Parade of Homes. If you guys are familiar with the Parade of Homes, they were blown away at some of these houses. We had one young lady, I think she was in the 8th grade, who was inspired to design one. And it was because one of the homes, they had like a secret compartment. She found it. I was like, why is there a secret compartment in this house? I want to design one of these. We've got a lot of support in the community. Dave Jones Plumbing participated in providing opportunities for our kids to experience career paths in the trades. I see Valerie here. And, we have a great opportunity working with Habitat for Humanity. I was in Sun Prairie last week. We have 8 kids, a cohort right there, working with Habitat for Humanity, building a brand new home for a family in that community, and they're going to be a part of that. We're just basically inspiring these kids. They're not going to see it through grandpa today, our kids today. They're not going to see it through their dad. They're not going to see it through their uncle. We're providing them an opportunity to see this, to touch it, to feel it. And we're making great headways. The facility's open right now. I see Mitch here from MMSD. We've had lots of conversations on how we can engage the Metropolitan School District, Verona School District, Sun Prairie School District. We really think we're going to make a big difference in the work that we're doing at the McKenzie Regional Workforce. It's because of this community. It's because of the passion that we have for our children and providing them the best opportunity to be whatever they want to be in their lives. So at this time, I'm going to get ready to show you a video of the space so you can get an opportunity to see it, and then Michael will come up after the video concludes to wrap up and close out. But as John said, we wanted to give them a space that they would be proud of. We want them to feel like they're in Madison College or UW somewhere. And we want them to be committed to learning, educating themselves about these future pathways that we're exploring with them, and we want them to feel proud. We want them to feel proud that the career pathway that they're on through this McKenzie Regional Workforce Center isn't second fiddle, it's their first option. Just want to highlight some of our partners. We're not in this alone. Madison Area Builders Association is our anchor partner. As John said, they provide over 300 member associations within their organization that will provide opportunities to work with our kids and provide opportunities for them to go to work directly out of high school. The Latino Workforce Academy, the state of Wisconsin, DWD, and Habitat for Humanity, and WRTP Big Step, that they are our partner that makes that connection for our kids to union organizations here in our region. And just to give you some insight on some of the impact that we've had over the first year, like I said, well, today as I'm standing here, more than 1,000 kids have been touched and inspired, who are more aware of what skilled trades are and can consider them as an option for their future through exposure opportunities, through awareness opportunities, through hands-on opportunities. We just started our entrepreneurship program. As John said, we have an entrepreneurship classroom. They're embarking upon a 12-week program, learning about financial literacy, business plans. They're currently working on their vision board, where we can get them to imagine and picture their pathway to success in their career. So we're excited about it. We're thankful for the opportunity to impact the lives of so many youth in our community. We have a long ways to go, but we really truly think that we're going to make a difference in the lives of hundreds of kids in South Central Wisconsin today and in the future. So at this time, I think I want to go ahead and show you a video of what this space is.
do you all think? Yeah. That building is $10 million to build, and it's completely paid for. Not one penny is owed on that building, and on top of that, we partnered with the Madison Community Foundation. So this has now become the largest youth workforce center in the history of Boys and Girls Clubs of America. So out of 5,000 Boys and Girls Clubs nationwide, this is the largest, and it now has sparked a national partnership with the National Builders Association and Boys and Girls Clubs of America to do this project in 22 other cities. Our second goal was to make sure that this building was sustainable. So part of our strategic plan was to build the largest endowment in the history of our organization, and also to build the largest in the city for young people in this community. We made a commitment. We've already placed $6 million in the Madison Community Foundation, and when we place another $15 million in the Madison Community Foundation, this will become the largest youth endowment in the history of this city, thanks to many people in this room and folks who've supported this project. John, thank you for coming along on this journey. I would tell you, I remember the story a little bit differently. I remember, John, I had, for the record, we run the largest college preparatory program in the state. And we are the only program in the state that have third-party evidence to show that we're moving the academic needle for low-income kids of color. UW-Madison in about 2 weeks is going to come out with another study that show that our kids graduate from high school, our kids go on to college, and they graduate from college. And I remember John, when I first met him, wanted me to meet him in Florida. So I was like, sure, I'll meet you down there. And I booked the hotel. He said, well, I need you to stay for 4 days. I'm like, why did it take 4 days to get a gift? So I did it. So I get there, and he said, why would you book a hotel? You need to stay at our house. And I would tell you I was not looking forward to spending 4 days at somebody's house that I did not know. And so I get there, and we stayed up all night long, laughing and having a good time. And he turned around, him and his wife turned around and wrote a $100,000 check for one of our kids to go to college. That is absolutely amazing, John. I just want to recognize that. And I had such a good time, and it probably could have damaged our relationship. A week later, I called him. I said, can I bring my family to your house? So I brought 22 black people from Chicago to Sarasota, Florida, and I said, we're going to bring a little bit of diversity to your community. But I didn't tell him I was bringing 22 people. I told him I was just bringing my wife and kids. So he looks on Facebook. His wife said, there's about 20 black people in our swimming pool. So, John, forgive me. They actually appreciated it. And I remember they had a couple of cars in the garage, and most of my family still live in poverty. And I remember his wife was like, take any of the cars you want. And I remember while I'm on the phone with them, my sister drove off in one of their electric cars. And I'm like, you can't do that. And I would tell you, John and his family has just been amazing. And then so we started having this conversation about society. And we know in America, only 51% of working age adults have college degrees. And I always struggled as a kid that came out of the west side of Chicago. When I started this Boys and Girls Club 14 years ago, we couldn't make payroll. Our clubs was dark. For the most part, they were gloomy. You walk in any of our Boys and Girls Clubs, any one of them, they look like country clubs for kids. That's what our kids deserve. And we didn't want to build a facility that did not look like a facility like a UW-Madison or an institution of higher learning. So John, thank you for making that initial $1 million investment. Alan, thank you. I recruited Alan from Kentucky. I went, part of my job as a CEO is like a baseball coach. You go out and you recruit talent, locally, regionally, and throughout the country. And if you look at my team, you see everything. You see Christian, you see LGBTQ, you see Black, white, Hispanic, Latino, young, seasoned adults who all work at Boys and Girls Clubs, helping us to make a difference in people's lives. But it also was important to us when we started this project that we had people of color working on our site. And Dwayne Malone, our maintenance guy, was one of our key people. Our kids were involved in putting up the drywall in our building. We hired local people of color, and particularly Black people, to work on our sites. And we also wanted to make sure that once the building was built, that there was enough support to make sure that this project lasts beyond our collective lifetime in this room. And when you walk in our facility, there's no way, if you Google women in the workforce, if you Google workforce in general around the trades, you don't see women and you don't see Black people. That changed. We hired 5 local photographers here in Madison, and we hired local kids in this community, and through a grant that we got from the county, and I see one of our county supervisors here, April, we were able, when you walk in our facility, you see images, as soon as you hit the parking lot, of young girls as architects, images of African-American boys and girls as CEOs, as plumbers, as carpenters, as electricians, because we want to inspire them that someday they can and will be able to do that. And we did not want to go at this alone. So we partnered with 5 other organizations who all have staff that work in our buildings. The new corporate office of Madison 365 is in our building, and they're going to help us tell the story of young people and businesses that are working with us. So we are effectively messaging what we're doing in this community. Secondly, whether it's Habitat for Humanity, good to see you, the Latino Workforce Academy, big step that we knew we couldn't go at it alone. So part of our endowment is to help fund those organizations that pushes us to work together to make sure that we are placing young people into the trades. And finally, when you walk into our facility, the video did not show the warehouse. The warehouse is like a mini Home Depot. You walk in there, you see wood, you see HVAC, you see it all. And we set it up in a way where it is 2 separate nonprofits still governed by Boys and Girls Clubs. So we have a workforce board, which is separate from the Boys and Girls Club board. The reason we placed the endowment at the Madison Community Foundation, we wanted some separation of those financial duties to make sure that the funds that we raise in that endowment is there 100 years from now. And so I would encourage you to come, take a look at the space. President Charles, thank you for the invite. Thank you for taking the opportunity to make your members available to see the space. It's open every single day. And one of the reasons we built that upstairs patio, we also wanted it open to the community. So the community, whether you want to have a wedding there or an event there, we want to make this space available for not only young people, but for families. And I would tell you, people all over the country is calling us. Just yesterday, I found out the mayor of Chicago, Lorenz Tate, who is a local actor where I just joined their local board, wants to replicate our center on the west side of Chicago and do the same thing there. They've already started 2 other cities in Wisconsin that wants to build a similar center like this. But one of the challenges that we face as nonprofit leaders is infrastructure support. And that's why the endowment is so critical. Somebody said, well, how do you raise $31 million? We did it in less than a year and a half. And what we did, we went out, we met with a bunch of people, we shared what the issues were in the community, we had a plan, and now it is our responsibility to execute on that plan. So thank you all for having us, thank you for listening to us, I hope you get an opportunity to come and visit our location.
Thank you, John and Michael and Alan. Very informative program. The video doesn't do justice to how impressive the center is, as good as the video was. So I really encourage you all to pick up the yellow sheet, sign up, go out, visit. We don't have time for questions, but that just gives more opportunity for people to come and take the tour and ask questions at the tour. Great. Okay, next week we have our Rotary District Governor and past president of this club, Michelle McGrath, will be here with us. So let's all come out and support Michelle. All right, I want to see the room full next week supporting our district governor and our fellow Rotarian. She's doing a big job. So, and as we close today, please stand and we will recite the four-way test of the things we think, say, and do. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? Have a great day, everyone.